Picture this. It's 11:47 at night. The apartment is dark except for one thing. The pale blue glow of a phone screen reflecting off your face. Your thumb moves on autopilot. Left, 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 left. You've been doing this for 45 minutes, maybe longer. You stopped counting. Every few swipes, a little hit of color. A match notification. A tiny dopamine spike that lasts about 3 seconds until you open it, send a message, and watch it dissolve into the void. No response. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. And here's where it gets dark. You start doing something you never thought you'd do. You start questioning yourself. Am I not attractive enough? Is my bio too boring? Should I change my photos? Maybe I should pay for the upgrade. Maybe then the algorithm will actually show me to someone. Stop right there, because what I'm about to tell you is going to change how you see that screen forever. The problem is not your face. The problem is not your height, your job, or the angle of your selfie. The problem is that the app was never designed for you to win. Before we go any further, if what I just described sounds like your last Tuesday night, I need you to watch this one all the way through. This isn't a rant about dating apps. This is a breakdown of one of the most sophisticated psychological traps ever built. And it's running in your pocket right now. Subscribe if you haven't already, because this channel exists for moments exactly like this. Welcome back to Why We Fall. Let me tell you about Tyler. Tyler is 26 years old. He lives in a one-bedroom apartment in Lincoln Park, Chicago. He works as a marketing specialist at a mid-sized digital agency downtown. He makes $80,000 a year. He drives a clean Civic. He hits the gym 4 times a week. He has a solid group of friends he watches Bears games with on Sundays. By almost every measurable standard, Tyler is doing fine. Better than fine. He's doing well. But Tyler has a secret, and it's eating him alive. For the last 18 months, Tyler has spent an average of 1 hour per day on Hinge and Tinder, combined, every single day. That's over 500 hours of swiping, 500 hours of curating his profile, adjusting his prompts, swapping photos, testing different opening lines. The results? In 18 months, Tyler has gotten 43 matches on Hinge. Out of those 43, 11 responded to his opening message. Out of those 11, 3 agreed to a first date. Out of those 3, 1 showed up. She left after 20 minutes because she said he was shorter than his profile suggested. He's 5'10". So Tyler did what the app told him to do. He upgraded. Hinge Plus first, then Tinder Gold, then Tinder Platinum. $340 over 6 months. The apps promised him more visibility, more likes, more chances. Premium access to the front of the line. You know what changed? The numbers on his credit card statement. That's it. But here's the part that keeps me up at night. It's not the money Tyler lost. Money comes back. It's what happened inside his head. Tyler started avoiding mirrors. He stopped posting on social media. He began declining invitations to go out with friends because, what's the point? If hundreds of women on an app can look at his face and his life and decide in half a second that he's not worth a single swipe right, then maybe the problem really is him. Tyler told me something that hit like a freight train. He said, "I used to walk into a room and feel like I belonged there. Now I walk into a room and wonder if anyone would swipe right on me." Let that sink in. A 26-year-old man with a career, a gym routine, a social circle, and 0 red flags, reduced to measuring his human value in swipe ratios. Not because he's broken, not because he's delusional, but because an algorithm trained him to believe that the data on his screen is a reflection of his worth in the real world. And if you're watching this and your chest just tightened a little, if something in Tyler's story felt uncomfortably familiar, I need you to hear this clearly. You are not crazy. You are not unattractive. You are not undateable. You are not the problem. You are the product. And in the next section, I'm going to show you exactly how the machine works, why it needs you to feel invisible, and what happens to a man's psychology when he lets a server farm in San Francisco define his value. Now let's pull back the curtain, because what's happening to Tyler, and to millions of men like him, isn't an accident. It's architecture. The gamification of loneliness. There's a quote from a former Tinder product designer that circulated on Reddit a few years back. He said, "We optimized for session length, not for outcomes. Let me decode that for you. Session length means how long you stay on the app. Outcomes means you actually find someone. Those two goals are in direct conflict. If you find a partner on Tuesday, you delete the app on Wednesday. And when you delete the app, Match Group loses a paying customer. Think about that for a second. The entire business model is structurally opposed to your happiness. Tinder's parent company, Match Group, generated $3.2 billion in revenue in 2023. That money doesn't come from successful relationships. It comes from unsuccessful ones. It comes from men like Tyler who stay on the app month after month, upgrading tier after tier, hoping that this time the algorithm will be kind. This is the same mechanic that casinos use. Give the player just enough small wins to keep them at the table, but never enough to walk away rich. In behavioral psychology, this is called a variable ratio reinforcement schedule. It's the most addictive reward pattern ever documented, and it's running in your pocket disguised as a dating app. So the next time you get a random match at 2 in the morning that leads absolutely nowhere, understand that it wasn't a coincidence. That was the algorithm feeding you just enough hope to keep you swiping. The elite polarization effect. In 2009, OkCupid published internal data that most people have conveniently forgotten. The data showed that women rated 80% of men as below average in attractiveness. Not below their standards, below average. Mathematically, that's impossible. But psychologically, it reveals something brutal. On dating apps, attraction doesn't follow a bell curve. It follows a power law. The top 10% of men receive approximately 90% of all right swipes from women. The remaining 90% of men, they split the leftover 10% among themselves. And here's the part nobody talks about. The apps know this. They have the data. They've always had the data. And instead of correcting for it, they monetize it. Because when you're in the bottom 90% and you're getting almost zero matches, what do? You pay for boost. You pay for super likes. You pay for platinum. You pay to be temporarily visible in a system that was designed to make you invisible. This is artificial scarcity. The app creates a drought and then sells you the water. Tyler wasn't competing against other men in Chicago. He was competing against an algorithm that had already decided he wasn't profitable enough to show to anyone unless he paid. The commodification of self. Here's something I want you to sit with for a moment. When was the last time someone evaluated your entire worth as a human being in less than 1 second? On a dating app, that happens every single time your profile loads. A woman sees your first photo and makes a decision in roughly 400 to 600 milliseconds, less than the time it takes to blink. Your career, your values, your humor, your loyalty, the way you show up for the people you love, none of that registers. You are a thumbnail, a product listing on a digital shelf. And here's where the real psychological damage happens. When you're evaluated like a product long enough, you start thinking of yourself as one. You start optimizing like a product. Better photos, better lighting, better bio copy. You become your own marketing department, selling a version of yourself to strangers who will never read past the first image. This is identity erosion. Your sense of self slowly gets replaced by your sense of performance. You stop asking, "Am I a good man?" and start asking, "Am I a marketable man?" And those are two very different questions. If you've ever spent 20 minutes choosing which photo makes your jaw look sharper, or debating whether your hobby sounds impressive enough for a prompt, drop "unplugged" in the comments right now. Let's see how many of us have been caught in that loop. Because I promise you, you're not the only one. The premium trap. And this brings us to the cruelest part of the design, the upsell. When Tyler's free account produced almost nothing, he didn't blame the app, he blamed himself. And then the app offered him a solution. For $14.99 a month, he could see who liked him. For $29.99, he could skip the queue. For $39.99, he could become the most visible profile in his area for 30 minutes. That language is surgical. It implies that the reason you're failing is visibility, not the system itself. It frames the solution as a purchase, not as a departure. This is textbook cognitive dissonance. Tyler had already invested 18 months and hundreds of hours into the platform. Admitting that the entire system was rigged would mean admitting that all of that time and emotional energy was wasted. That's an unbearable thought. So instead, he doubled down. He paid more. He swiped harder. He optimized his profile for the 9th time, and the app counted on exactly that reaction. Because the premium tier isn't designed to give you results. It's designed to give you just enough hope to delay your departure by another 60 to 90 days. Another billing cycle. Another quarterly earnings bump for Match Group shareholders.
Tyler wasn't investing in his love life.
He was subsidizing someone else's stock portfolio, with his self-esteem as collateral.
So now you see the machine. You see how it works.
You see why it needs you broken, lonely, and swiping at midnight. The question is, what do you do about it? I'm going to give you 3 steps. They're simple. They're not easy, but they work. Step 1. The 30-day app detox. Not a break, not hiding your profile, not deleting the app while keeping your account active so you can reinstall it next Friday when you're bored.
I mean, scorched earth. Delete the account. Delete the app. Remove the payment method.
30 days, no exceptions. Here's why 30 days matters.
Neuroscience research on dopamine receptor reset shows that it takes roughly 21 to 30 days
for your brain to recalibrate its baseline reward circuitry after removing a compulsive stimulus. That means for the first week, you're going to feel restless. You're going to reach for your phone and feel a strange itch when the app isn't there. You might even feel lonelier than before. And I need you to understand something critical. That restlessness you're feeling, that's not loneliness talking, that's withdrawal. The same kind a gambler feels when he walks past a casino and his hands start tingling. The fact that you feel it is the proof that the app had its hooks in you deeper than you thought. Write it down. Journal it. Day 3. Felt the urge at 11 p.m. Recognized it. Let it pass. That journal entry is more valuable than any Tinder Platinum subscription you'll ever buy. Step 2. The in-person calibration test. During those 30 days, I want you to put yourself in one real-world social environment that has nothing to do with dating. A CrossFit box, a recreational basketball league, a weekend volunteer crew at your local food bank, a co-working space where you actually talk to people instead of wearing headphones. Here's what you're testing. You're testing the gap between how the algorithm values you and how actual human beings respond to you in 3 dimensions. With your voice, your eye contact, your laugh, your presence. I can almost guarantee you, the data will not match. The app told Tyler he was invisible.
But when Tyler joined a flag football league in Lincoln Park last fall,
he was the guy people wanted on their team. He was the guy who made people laugh during water breaks. He was the guy a woman at the post-game bar asked for his number, without him having to perform a single prompt or pass a single algorithmic filter. Tyler in an app. Invisible. Tyler in a room. Magnetic. Same man, completely different system of measurement. That gap is your evidence. Hold on to it. Step 3. The value audit. Take out a piece of paper or open a note on your phone
and write down 3 things you have done in the last 6 months that you are genuinely proud of.
Not things that would look good on a dating profile. Things that matter to you. Maybe you helped your younger brother move into his first apartment and built his desk from scratch. Maybe you finished a certification that took 8 months of evening study.
Maybe you held your composure during a brutal quarter at work when everyone around you was cracking.
Those things are real. Those things have weight, and not a single one of them can be captured in a 6-photo carousel with a 200-character bio. The purpose of this exercise is simple. It forces you to evaluate yourself by your own metrics, not by the metrics of a platform that profits from your insecurity. Now, the acid test. I want you to imagine something. Imagine Tinder sent you an email tomorrow, a transparent one, and it said,
"Based on our internal data, your demographic profile will statistically never generate consistent matches on our platform."
Not because you are unattractive, but because our algorithm deprioritizes your age bracket, location tier, and engagement pattern. We recommend discontinuing use. If you read that email, would you feel relieved or would you feel devastated? If the answer is devastated, then the app hasn't just taken your money, it's taken your identity. And getting that back starts with recognizing that a server farm in San Francisco has no authority, none, to tell you what you're worth. I want to end this where we started, with that blue glow in the dark. Because here's the thing about Tyler that I didn't tell you yet. Tyler quit. He deleted everything 3 months ago. He said the first 2 weeks were the hardest thing he'd done since college finals. But by week 3, something shifted. He stopped measuring his days by matches and started measuring them by moments.
A conversation with a stranger at a coffee shop that lasted 40 minutes.
A compliment from a coworker he didn't have to fish for. The realization that he could walk into a bar and hold eye contact with someone, and that the warmth he felt in that exchange was worth more than 18 months of swiping combined. Tyler didn't find a girlfriend. Not yet, but he found something that the app had stolen from him so gradually he didn't even notice it was gone. He found his nerve. And that is worth more than every premium subscription on the planet. So if you're watching this at midnight, if the screen is glowing and your thumb is tired and your chest feels hollow, I want you to know something.
You are not a profile. You are not a match percentage. You are not a swipe statistic.
You are a man with a voice, a presence, and a life that cannot be reduced to a thumbnail on someone's phone. The algorithm doesn't get to decide your value. You do. Drop unplugged in the comments if this one hit home. Tell me, what's the first real-world thing you're going to do this week instead of opening that app? I want to hear it. Subscribe to Why We Fall and join a growing community of men who are done sleepwalking through their own lives. We'll see you in the next one, brother.